joining the live stream or for watching the recording. And again, today is an open Q&A live stream. So if you have any questions about immigration to the Czech Republic, all the different visa types or residence permit types, or let me put it like this, or any questions about health insurance, starting a business in the Czech Republic, whatever else, finding accommodation, getting health insurance. I've said that already, but we get a lot of questions about that because we also help with setting up health insurance. We work with 6 different companies and we get the best prices they have. So I can tell you a lot about health insurance at this point. So you can ask questions about that as well. Finding accommodation, of course, that's one of the common services we provide too. So yeah, Hasibul Hossain, thank you for asking the question. You're the first one, so that's perfect. Hi, can you talk about partnership visa? Of course, ask your question. That's like a very, very broad topic, and I've done videos about partnership visa. So if you're looking for more general information, either go to our website, movetoprague.com, and just search for partnership visa, and it will find you a blog post about that. Or go somewhere to my channel. I still don't know where you need to where you need to click. And I've done a couple videos about different aspects of the partnership visa. So that would be better than me talking about it here because it's a pretty specific topic. But if you have any question in particular, please write it in the chat and I'll be happy to answer it now. Papis Koba, hi from Senegal. Hi from Prague. Hi to Senegal. I'm trying to see if the castle might be visible. Probably yes. It's dark out there. My girlfriend is Czech citizen and I'm Asian. Can I get a partnership visa? Yes. That's not that much about your nationality. The only complication with generally Asian nationalities is that you cannot come to the Czech Republic without a visa. So you need to get a short-term visa to be able to come here and to apply for the partnership visa. And that might be pretty difficult in some countries because you need to prove when you're applying for a short-term visa to visit your partner and then apply for the partnership visa, you need to prove to the embassy that you've been in a long-term serious relationship. And only if you do that and the embassy believes you, they give you a special type of short-term visa which you need. If you get any type of short-term visa, any other than this specific one, then you can come here, but you will not be able to submit your partnership visa application. You need to have this one specific type of visa. Yuri Truci. Hey Jan, I received letter asking for proof of income, but I don't have any visa to start working. I saw in your channel that it is common issue. How do I solve it? What kind of visa you applied for? Let me know, Yuri Truci. Without that, I cannot really answer that question. Safe Haven. Hi Jan, what is the longest period of time you know it has taken to ministry to approve a standard employee card for first time? They are still working on that. Well, it can take forever. They don't care. I was actually answering an email earlier today before the live stream, and I got the same question that how long it take. It wasn't for an employee card, it was for a family reunification, but that person has been in the process for several months already. The ministry doesn't care. They are the government. So what will you do? They are the law. By the law, they have 60 to 90 days, but if it takes 3 years, who cares? You do, but they don't. So it can be as long as they want. You have some things you can do. You can send a polite letter, which usually, or not usually, but sometimes it helps them to get back to your case, because often the delays are caused just because your file is laying somewhere on a shelf and no one really does anything about that. So if you send them a polite letter, that might gently nudge them in the direction. But that has no legal value. If it's been taken too long, you can send a strong letter. It's called complaint against inactivity, and that's a very serious thing. So they usually 95% of cases they reply and something starts happening, but even then they still could take a couple more months to get you the result. So basically anything can happen. Whoop. Tak. Next, Quicksilver, you can apply for a residence permit from Czech Republic itself. Yes, but only in very specific cases. There are two main cases where that applies. First is if you're applying for a partnership visa or the temporary residence permit as a family member of an EU citizen. That allows you to submit your application inside of the Czech Republic. And then also if you have a blue card in some other EU country and you're applying for a blue card in the Czech Republic, you can do it here. All the other cases must be through an embassy. Professor and some like unreadable, for me at least, letters afterwards. So some kind of professor. Hey Jan, how many time appeal can take for decision? I just submitted through post and electronic. Forever, basically. An appeal, if the ministry denied your application and if they had the right to deny it, meaning that it's not their mistake or mistake on their side, but it's on your side, then they will just be looking for like legal reasons to deny it again. So that can take forever as well. Hasibul Hussain, do I have to register relationship and is it possible to do it online? What do you mean by register relationship? I don't know what exactly you mean, so if you can specify, I'll be happy to answer that. Papiskoba, what you think about apply study visa at this time because I need apply February? What do you mean? Like if you are to start in February, like the summer semester intake, that's kind of too late to apply now. If you apply now, that's good. But if you are starting the process, that would be too late to apply. If you're asking about applying for a student visa in February for September intake, that's perfect timing because that will work out well. Yuri Trutsi, partnership visa. I'm Brazilian and she's Czech. I spend the money during my stay here, 6 months by now, and they're asking for me a proof of income. Yeah, that's a standard requirement. You should have provided that when you were submitting the application for the partnership visa. So that's actually interesting that they're requesting it only now after 6 months. But that's one of the basic requirements for a proof of income for the partnership visa. So they have every right to ask about it. Either you can submit your partner's income if it's high enough. If your partner is making enough money, you can use her income. And you also have free access to the Czech labor market. So if you were given a bridging visa, you can work. So you could have found a job and you can submit your employment contract and salary slips as well. Quicksilver, elephant in the room. Does being from specific countries make it more favorable when processing a visa application? Well, that's not a complicated topic. Yes, of course, the nationality has a big impact on that. Not like in... there are some countries that at some point cannot get any visa at all. There was a ban, for example, for Vietnamese. At some point, they could not apply for any type of visa at all. So that was like a ban for that nationality. But that does not really happen that often that you would have a complete ban. You can have a complete ban for some visas. Like in India, there is a quota at the Czech embassy in India. And the quota is 0 for some types of residence permit. So the government does things like that. Also, the nationality can influence the process, but it's not like if you're from this country, you will never get a visa. We've had clients from, I think it's like 110 nationalities right now. I would need to pull out the numbers from our CRM, but I think it's definitely more than 100. And I would estimate like 110 nationalities. So we've had people from all around the place, like from Asia, from Africa, all the countries. So it's possible to get a visa for any nationality, but of course, yes, it's more complicated for some. Catherine Lonsberry, will I be able to find an apartment 4 months ahead of time before I apply for business visa? Thank you. Not really, no. That's a simple answer, but well, basically no, and especially if you're not here. I don't really know your situation, if you're already here or if you're in the country of origin or what's the situation, but it's very difficult. Of course, if your budget is like 50,000 crowns and higher, so like $2,000 or something a month for an apartment, yes, then landlords are a bit more flexible there. But if you're looking for a studio or a one-bedroom apartment or something like that, it's very, very unlikely that someone will rent an apartment like 4 months in advance to you. Usually people do it the way that they rent an apartment, start living there, using their 90 days visa-free stay, and then they use the lease agreement for their visa process. Ostrava Carp, yeah, that's a fish watching. Hi, I've been waiting 11 months for Czech partnership visa. I got another 6-month temporary visa, but what would you advise? Well, yeah, just wait. Kind of depends, because I know nothing about your case. Generally, the ministry, as I said many times today, they can take as much time as they want. So 6 months or 11 months is no time for the ministry. You know, it takes 2 years, 3 years to get the decision about partnership visa. But that being said, only in some cases. So usually there is some problem in your application which creates the delay. So it kind of depends. Maybe they've sent you a letter, but you've never received it because you moved and you didn't provide a new address. I don't know. So they might actually like be just waiting for you to do something and you might not even know about it. So I would need to know a bit more about your case, but you can always write one of the 2 letters as I mentioned, either just a polite request of the status of your application, which usually doesn't help, but sometimes it does, or you can write the strong complaint against inactivity, but I would recommend only doing it if you're like 100% sure everything is perfect in your application, because you're complaining about a specific person taking too long. So the person might get pissed and might do everything in their power to get your application denied. So you need to be sure that you're like 100% good before sending the letter. Fasal, I'm waiting for my work permit. Yeah, good. Or maybe not, because if you're waiting for your work permit, meaning for your employment contract, you most likely got scammed. So maybe not good for you, but thanks for sharing. Junior, can company formation help in residence permit application? Not really, not on its own. Of course, if you really want to do some business in the Czech Republic, then founding a company is like one of the requirements, basically. So in that case, yes, but if you just set up a company, you cannot get a residence permit based on that. Engineer Liban, MOI rejected my study visa application today, took 5 months. Yeah, guys, you see that. Hasibul Hussain, can you tell me about your website again? I would like to read from there without disturbing you. Thank you very much. It's movetoprague.com, like I move to Prague, or I want to move to Prague, or I move into Prague. So movetoprague.com. Jona Garcia. My husband and I are both working here, but I want to resign my current job. Is there a way for me to switch my visa, another visa, where I can stay here with my husband even I'm not working here? Depends on your situation. Where are you from? How long have you been here? What type of visa you used to enter? All that. But generally, if you're married and one of you has an employee card, then the other person can apply for a family reunification residence permit, which allows you to stay here even without the job if your spouse are making enough money on monthly basis, or it also allows you to work if you want to. So switching to a family reunification might be the best option, but I would definitely not recommend leaving your work before this application is approved, because if it's not approved for whatever reason, the income reasons, for example, then you would have lost everything. So get in touch if you want to do this. Get in touch for a consultation. I'll be happy to explain everything, and then we can take it from there and see what we can do. Levi and Davis, I'm applied student visa for February intake in Czech Republic. If I get visa in December, then when can I go there? Before 1 month or 3 months before? It depends on when your visa starts. Your visa usually starts when your courses start, sometimes when your accommodation start. So generally you don't get the visa 3 months in advance, or you get the visa but it doesn't start until your school starts. So most likely you will only be allowed to come maybe like a day or two before the school start, generally. Hasibul Hussain, I mean, how do I prove long-term and long-distance relationship if needed? That's kind of a big... I'm not exactly sure because I didn't stop my... Sorry. I didn't stop my notification, so messages are popping up and it distracts me. So Hasibul, you are the one who's Asian and you want to apply for partnership visa. Yeah, so ideally go for the article or for the video I've done about the partnership visa, because that's quite a topic on how to prove your relationship. Idovu Nmada Buchukwu. Sorry for mispronouncing. I'm sure I mispronounced. Hi, does non-dual employee card holder for employees with free access to labor market has an expired time when a holder lost his job? We generally recommend sticking to 60 days anyway, the same as for the normal employee card. There is no timeline like that. There are some other things you should consider, but we generally recommend sticking to 60 days as the same rule as for standard employee cards if you want to avoid any trouble completely. In real life, it might be a bit longer, but if you want to avoid trouble, I would just stick to 60 days anyway. Because your purpose of stay is employment anyway. So if you're not employed, you're not fulfilling the purpose of your stay, and at some point the employee card will be cancelled anyway. So it's better to just stick to the standard rules and don't risk anything from this perspective. Ostrava Karp, partnership visa. I only got 3 months private healthcare, but it has been 12 months now, still doing a job in another country until I get my full visa. Will I have to pay when I get my visa? You should be insured during your whole stay in the Czech Republic. So there should be no, not a single day without a visa in the Czech Republic, and especially not 9 months without a visa. So definitely get a health insurance right now, because that could be a major problem for you if the ministry finds out you've been uninsured for the whole period of time, because by the law you have to be insured during your whole stay in the Czech Republic. If you want to get the best quotes on the market, get in touch, send us your date of birth and we'll send you the quotes. If you're below 30, the insurance is pretty cheap right now. I think the lowest is 11,000 crowns a year, so that's nothing basically. Compared to PVZP, for example, which is 30,000 crowns a year for the same insurance. So I will be happy to do this, and you can do 3 months at a time if you don't want to pay 11,000 crowns in advance, but you must be insured during your whole stay in the Czech Republic. Jack Stanade, again mispronouncing, sorry for that. Hi Jan, my husband earns 22,000 Czech a month. Is it possible to apply for long-term residence visa? I'm 4 months pregnant. Can I give birth in Czech, or is it better to give birth in my country? I'll start with that. Well, I would do it in your home country for many reasons, especially if you don't have a public health insurance in the Czech Republic. It would be better to do it in there. Also, from everything else, you would be given a birth in a country which language you don't speak, in a hospital you've never been to, no family here, no friends here. So definitely would do it in the country of origin. Then 20,000 a month is not really much for 3 people, because he will be responsible for all of you. But it depends on how much he pays rent. If he doesn't pay rent because his job pays the rent for him, 23,000 or 22,000 crowns is enough for 3 of you. But if he pays 20,000 crowns for an apartment, or even 15,000 crowns, that will not be enough for the 3 of you. So I would need to know a bit more about your situation, but I would definitely recommend giving birth in the country of origin, not here. Rizura Crafts, what does it mean when your application says affirmative? I've never seen affirmative anywhere, but it sounds like approval to me. Nirosh Fernando, dear, I'm Sri Lankan and stay in Saudi Arabia and trying to take work visa through this consultant's company. What about the possibility? I would not do that. Like, if you're Sri Lankan, if you're Indian, if you're Nepali, Bangladeshi, I would go to a different country than the Czech Republic, because in 90% of cases you'll be scammed and you will never see your money, you will never get a visa for the Czech Republic. So I would probably not do that. Even though you have higher chances if you stay in Saudi Arabia than if you stayed in Sri Lanka, where the chances would be basically close to zero, but I'm not sure it's really worth it. Jona Garcia, my husband and I are both working here. I believe I've already answered that. Catherine Lonsbury, if I move to Prague and have an apartment and then apply for a business visa in Dresden, can't work until visa is approved, right? So it might be 90 days with no work. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you cannot officially work. Depends on what you do. If you teach English, get in touch and I will explain, because I should probably not mention it here live. But there might be some workarounds, but yeah, it's generally like that. If you come here, you cannot work until you get the visa approved, or actually print it into your passport, not approved. Quicksilver, the max, I don't know about that. If we're talking about IT, I think companies are bugging out to Bulgaria, Serbia in case of blah, blah, blah. I don't know what it refers to. Where they, is it possible to use Živno license to change your status from student visa to work visa? That's a bit complicated topic, but probably not in the sense as you mean it, because you can only switch to the, okay, employment and self-employment are two different things. Work visa, probably you are referring to employment type of visa, so an employee card or a blue card. You can switch from student to employee card or blue card anytime. There are some important rules you should stick to. Like, for example, don't leave your school before you get the employee card, blue card approved, because then you can lose your student status, you can lose everything. But that's technically possible. The switching from a student to a business residence permit is only possible after 5 years of living here, or from the job seeker residence permit. So if you're a student and you've graduated, then you should get your job seeker residence permit, and then you can switch to the business residence permit. But you cannot really do it directly from student to business. That's only possible after 5 years of being here. Khan Shahnavaz, I'm graduate in bachelor's honors. I have computer diploma, so can I get a job? I don't really know what you mean. If you like graduated in the Czech Republic, or if you graduated somewhere else and you will be getting a visa based on the job. So it's hard to answer that question for me right now. Rizura Crafts, what does it mean when it says application granted or affirmative? That means that you've been approved, so you should celebrate and take the next steps. Papiscopa, my study visa was rejected last October. What is the percentage of having the visa if I reply in February for the start of school year, September 25? Depends on why it was denied. You know, if it was denied because you're an internationally wanted terrorist, makes no sense to apply again, because that will be denied again. If there is like a serious reason that prevents you from getting any visa in the Czech Republic in general, makes no sense to apply. If the problem was that you didn't have enough money in your bank account, that's doable. You can reapply. As long as you have enough money, you'll be good. If the reason was because your motivation to study was too low, or unclear, that's kind of like 50-50. It depends if you can make the interview better this time. SM, how are you, Jan? You're doing a great job. Keep going. Thank you very much. SM, is it BDSM? Guys, now I'm tired, probably. I don't know. Don't mind me. I'm just weird. Jerks Tanabe, what range of salary would you recommend for my husband to have for us to apply for residence long-term visa for a family of 3? Well, there is a difference between a visa and a residence permit. For visa, he doesn't need to have any salary at all. You just need to have enough money in your bank. For a residence permit, he needs to have high enough salary. You will get to the residence permit at some point anyway, so it's good to stick to those rules anyway. But there are ways how you can get here even with a lower salary for him. But if you want to apply for the residence permit, it must be, let's say, 5,000 crowns. Let's make it simple, okay? 5,000 crowns per person plus his or your accommodation cost. So you will be 3 people, so it's 3 times 5,000. So let's say 15,000 plus however much he's paying for the apartment, including all utilities. So if his apartment rent is 20,000 crowns, complete everything, then it's 20 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, so 35 net salary would be recommended. It's in real life, it's a bit less because for kids, the amount is not 5,000, but 2,000 or whatever, depending on the age. But very easy calculation, 5,000 crowns per person plus accommodation cost, to give you a ballpark at least to work with. Ostrava Karp, can you set up a self-employed entrepreneur under temporary visa whilst waiting for partnership visa? Yes, if your bridging visa is valid for more than or issued for more than 90 days, meaning 91 and longer, you can apply for a trade license. If you need any help with that, let me know. We do it all the time. And the last question I'll answer today is from Weirdale. Sorry for that. I mispronounce half of the names, I'm sure. So yeah, but then I'll be leaving. I have a training in the evening in 40 minutes, so I'll need to leave soon. So last question. Is the scientific research visa similar to work visa in terms of requirements? Generally, yes. It's kind of between student and employment type of visa. But the thing is that for scientific research, generally the school can support you a lot in the process. They can provide some of the documents or most of the documents. You might not even require some of the documents. So yeah, it's something between student and employment, but generally very good type of application. Jax, thank you very much. This is highly appreciated. Bless you. Thank you very much as well. And Rizura Crafts, thank you. My pleasure. Guys, thank you very much all for being here, for asking the questions, because that kept the live stream going. And I'll be live again, maybe with some topic, maybe with just the open live stream on Thursday. And then again, Monday, Thursday, until the end of the world. Good night, guys. Sending you good mood from Prague. Thanks, mate. Thanks, Mohammed. See you again. Bye-bye.